Hello everyone. In this part of our session, we're going to discuss a topic that is absolutely critical in modern cybersecurity management: cybersecurity metrics and key performance indicators, or KPIs. You've probably heard the saying, "What gets measured gets managed." This is especially true in cybersecurity. Without measuring the effectiveness of security controls, organizations cannot truly know if their defenses are strong enough, or if their investments are producing the expected results. Let's begin by clarifying what metrics and KPIs mean. A metric is a measurement, for example, the number of phishing emails blocked last month. A KPI, or key performance indicator, is a specific type of metric that is tied to a goal or objective. For instance, if an organization has a goal to reduce the time taken to respond to incidents, then mean time to respond becomes a KPI. Together, metrics and KPIs give decision-makers a way to evaluate performance, track progress, and identify areas that need improvement. The first role of cybersecurity metrics is measuring the effectiveness of security controls. Every organization deploys a wide range of tools: firewalls, intrusion detection systems, antivirus, encryption, and access controls. But are these actually working? Metrics help answer that question. For example, if a company installs an intrusion prevention system, they need to track how many attempted intrusions are blocked, how many are missed, and how many false positives occur. These measurements reveal whether the tool is effective, whether it needs fine-tuning, or whether it's worth the investment. Without metrics, organizations are essentially operating in the dark. One of the most important KPIs is mean time to detect, MTTD. This measures how long, on average, it takes an organization to realize that a threat or incident has occurred. Imagine that a cyber attacker gains access to a system. If it takes the organization days, weeks, or even months to notice, the damage can be catastrophic. A lower MTTD means faster detection, which directly reduces the attacker's ability to cause harm. Leading organizations aim for very short MTTDs, often measured in minutes or hours, rather than days. Equally important is mean time to respond, MTTR. Detection alone isn't enough. What matters is how quickly the organization can contain and neutralize the threat. MTTR measures the average time between the detection of an incident and its resolution. For example, if ransomware is detected on one system, how long does it take to isolate that system, remove the malware, and restore normal operations? Organizations with strong incident response plans tend to have much lower MTTR values, which directly translates into less downtime, lower financial losses, and greater trust from customers. Another essential KPI is the percentage of systems patched and updated. Cybercriminals often exploit known vulnerabilities, weaknesses in software that already have fixes available but have not been applied. If a company has hundreds of servers but only 70% are fully patched, that leaves 30% exposed to attack. Measuring and reporting on patch compliance keeps organizations accountable. Many cybersecurity breaches in history, such as the Equifax incident, happened because critical patches were delayed. By tracking this KPI, organizations can ensure they stay ahead of attackers and close vulnerabilities quickly. Now let's talk about the number of incidents detected versus prevented. This metric helps organizations understand the balance between proactive and reactive security. For instance, how many phishing attempts were blocked by email filters before reaching users, versus how many phishing attempts actually reached users and were reported as incidents? A higher prevention ratio indicates stronger defenses. On the other hand, if most incidents are detected only after they happen, it may suggest that preventive controls are weak, and the organization is relying too heavily on detection and response. The ideal goal is to prevent as much as possible, while still maintaining strong detection for the threats that slip through. To put this in perspective, let's consider a real-world example. Imagine a financial institution that experiences an attempted cyber intrusion. If their MTTD is 2 hours, and their MTTR is 6 hours, they can contain the threat within the same business day. If they also have a patch compliance rate of 98%, it means most of their systems are hardened against known vulnerabilities. Finally, if 90% of phishing attempts are blocked before reaching users, they know their preventive controls are working effectively. These numbers, these metrics, give management confidence and help security teams prove their effectiveness. But metrics and KPIs aren't just for technical teams. They also help bridge the gap between security professionals and business leaders. Executives and board members may not understand the details of firewalls or encryption, but they can easily grasp a metric like average time to respond to incidents or percentage of patched systems. These numbers translate complex security activities into simple, business-relevant insights. In fact, many organizations now include cybersecurity KPIs in their overall business performance dashboards. Of course, using metrics effectively requires balance. There is a risk of focusing on the wrong metrics. For example, a team might track the number of alerts generated by a system, but if most of those alerts are false positives, the metric isn't very meaningful. Similarly, focusing only on the number of attacks detected doesn't say much about whether the organization is actually safe. The best metrics are those that are aligned with organizational goals, such as protecting sensitive data, ensuring regulatory compliance, or minimizing downtime. Another challenge is that metrics must be actionable. Simply measuring something is not enough. If an organization finds that their MTTR is too high, they need to ask, why? Do they lack trained staff? Are incident response processes too slow? Is communication between teams inefficient? Metrics should lead to decisions and improvements. Otherwise, they become vanity numbers with no real impact. Furthermore, metrics should be continuously reviewed and improved. Cyber threats evolve constantly. A metric that was useful 5 years ago may not be relevant today. For instance, as organizations move to cloud environments, traditional perimeter security metrics become less important, and new cloud-related KPIs, like misconfigured storage buckets or cloud identity misuses, gain priority. Globally, regulators and industry standards also encourage the use of metrics. Frameworks like NIST Cybersecurity Framework, ISO 27001, and CIS controls recommend measuring performance and monitoring security controls. Many compliance regimes, such as PCI DSS for payment systems or HIPAA for healthcare, require organizations to prove through measurable evidence that they are following best practices. Metrics and KPIs provide that evidence. To summarize, cybersecurity metrics and KPIs provide a clear picture of how secure an organization really is. Some of the most important ones include: 1. Measuring effectiveness of security controls, checking if tools and processes actually work. 2. Mean time to detect, MTTD, how fast threats are spotted. 3. Mean time to respond, MTTR, how quickly incidents are contained and resolved. 4. Patch and update compliance, ensuring systems are not left vulnerable. 5. Incidents detected versus prevented, striking the right balance between proactive and reactive defense. In conclusion, metrics and KPIs are the language of accountability in cybersecurity. They help teams prove the value of their work, guide improvements, and give business leaders the confidence that security investments are paying off. By choosing the right metrics, keeping them actionable, and continuously refining them, organizations can strengthen their resilience and stay one step ahead of cyber threats. Thank you.